Yo!
Yo, what is up, ViBE?
What's up, Chibi? How's your day
Not
going?
much about you. Doing great. What about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm chilling. I'm playing, streaming.
Hey, that's awesome. I am ready for second part of coaching. Guys, if you haven't already and you guys are looking for a coach, 100% recommend ViBE. 100%. Alright. 100%.
Yo, thanks for the shout out. Lots of people love it. The coaching's good.
Good is an understatement, ViBE. It's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What are you thinking about focusing on today? Are you thinking about focusing on the replays you sent over?
Yeah, ZvT and ZvZ. Like ZvZ, I've gotten a lot better at with the build that you gave me. So I've been using that build, and it's been really easy to like hold all those all-ins that they do because I get a pull for, or not. Well, the pull is more earlier than my old build, so it's more. Yeah, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, it's good. It the opener definitely makes a big difference for like.
Oh yeah, it really did.
Yeah, that's good. All right, which one do you want to kind of like focus on first?
We can look at the ZvZ one first. It'll be pretty quick and short.
Oh no! Don't eat the grenade.
Let's see.
I think I might have just loaded it because I clicked it. Here,
oh no!
I'll leave.
I have it. Oh yeah. Let me invite you to the party. I can. Oh wait, I don't see your name on here. Oh, it says you've gone offline.
Is it an old patch replay, or is it like really recent?
It's really recent.
Okay.
I think it's like maybe a couple days ago.
Okay, that's fine. Because I clicked it and it just started loading it, and then I was wondering if that like kicked me offline or something.
Oh, I think they kick you offline. I don't see you online right now.
Yeah, it did actually. Okay, I'm gonna log back in.
Yeah, I haven't moved over to my folder.
All right, yeah, just invite me, and I'll just let you invite me, and then you can host the replays you want to watch.
Okay, sounds good.
So you've been having success, huh? The builds have been going well?
Yes, it has. It has. I've been doing a lot better than before the coaching happened. And I'm back in Masters 3. And we've been getting really close to Masters 2. Like, we're kind of like getting close to that midpoint way of getting towards the Masters 2. Which is pretty big because before the coaching, I was kind of stuck in like low Diamond 1 MMR.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. I'm still struggling with ZvT because my decision making is terrible. So
yeah,
but that's just me because I can't make the right decisions ever. Like I just end up derping whenever I'm playing against Terran.
Yeah, I feel like it's just about patience. It's like you just have to know that even though it looks kind of bad, you have to be patient about it because a lot of times if people just rush into things, that's when it gets sloppy and then they always lose.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, why won't it let me watch this with others? This is weird. It's not letting me open it with you.
The ZvZ one?
Yeah, the ZvZ one.
I can try and host it as well. Maybe. I have no idea though. The only time that ever really happens is if it is an old patch, but if you did it like 2 days ago, it should be fine.
Yeah, this is actually, wait, today is Tuesday. It was my last stream, so yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Actually, yeah, I played against Printf yesterday.
Oh, it's a Printf game?
Yeah. But it was a Zerg. It was a Zerg.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Oh, was there a patch today, Whiskey?
Okay, never mind. I guess it patched today, yeah. Okay, so here's what we can do then. We can both load it up and watch it at the same time, and then we'll just keep each other informed to what timestamp we're on.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
I didn't even know there was a patch today.
Alright, let's see. Let's go and do this.
What did they patch today?
I have no clue what they patched today, actually. I didn't even read the patch notes.
Yeah, I think it's probably like bug fixes or something. I don't think it's a balance change.
Alright, let's see. Loading this replay will disconnect you from Blizzard services until you finish watching the replay. Okay.
It asks you that? Mine doesn't even ask me that. It just does it. It's like, yeah, this guy wants to go offline. Let's take him off. Take him down.
Oh no. Yeah, it asked me that, and I was like, okay.
All right. Mine is almost done loading.
Alright, mine's almost done loading as well.
All right, I'm in.
I am almost in.
Oh yeah, they patched in Loco as a announcer pack. Maybe that's what it was. And
Oh, that's awesome.
damn, man.
Alright. I am ready to hit the play button.
Okay, let's just play for now on faster times 2, and then we'll start talking about stuff.
Alright, sounds good.
So I guess I'll see more in just a second here, but I'm glad that you're doing 16 hatch now, because especially on a lot of maps in this map pool, since they're so small. Like you were saying before, the build itself just makes such a big difference, and if you hold or don't hold like a 12 pool.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, this build made a huge difference in my ZvZ opening. Like now I can actually hold cheeses, and like I don't die to silly stuff as bad.
Yeah, it's just a lot more. Like your percent chance just goes up to make the game go longer. And a lot of players that will cheese. A lot of times they'll just know how to cheese the early game and that's it, and they'll just kind of lose out the later it goes.
They like to do that one pull first opening and harass you with the first 6 lings, and then they can just macro behind that. So this build really helps because I can actually defend my hatch and I don't lose anything because my lings come out faster.
Yeah. Pause it real fast.
Oh, okay.
I just want to kind of touch on that one more time really fast and tell you, just to make sure you know, the differences in when you're ahead or behind. Even though this isn't a 12 pool game. But if you are defending a 12 pool and you're going for a hatch first build, like the one you're doing now, if you pull drones and you defend it and you only lose 3 drones or less, 3 drones would be I would say considered even. But if you lose less than 3 drones, you're ahead. And the less drones you lose, up to 0, the more ahead you are. So knowing that can make it can help you make your decision on what you want to do for the rest of the game. Do you just like to follow up usually if you get 12 pulled and you defend it, would you normally just say you would go roaches or something?
See, I really suck when it comes to that because I tend to just end up spamming lings.
Okay. Because that is a big part of it, about how to defend it and how to kind of properly read it. Because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to be oh, he's 12 pulling me and I'm just going to make ling. And you make, let's say, 20 lings to defend 12 and you lost no drones, but you've made so many zerglings. So one of the things you should kind of keep in mind is every time you get 12 pulled, a standard 12 pull build, if they expand behind it, is going to be about 12 lings and then it's going to stop. And they're going to make drones behind it.
That's good to know. Alright, so now what will we do if they just all in just 13-12 or just pull they don't even get a natural?
So if they don't get a natural at all, you should not pull your drones. And if you are already pulling your drones, you should immediately send them back to the mineral line.
Okay.
Because he's gonna have Banes morphing in your base really fast, and if your drones are really exposed at your natural, they're just gonna die. Because Banes get speed on creep and drones don't. So you don't want to be on creep at all with Banes if you can help it. You want to be as far away as you can before he gets to your main.
Okay.
So the response you'd want to do if he was going to go for a 13-12 would be immediately take 2 drones off gas once you get to 50. So just leave 1 on. And then start a baneling nest. Start your queens as fast as you can and start lings as fast as you can. And then as soon as you get 100 minerals, beyond doing all of that, you make a spine crawler.
Okay.
And let your natural die if he attacks it. That's actually good for you if he attacks your natural.
Alright, so let me go and type this out. So to defend against.
Alright, so first step is take 2 drones off gas at 50. And one of those 2 drones can become a baneling nest that you're taking off the gas. And then you start 2 queens and all your larvae on zerglings as fast as you can. And then after all of that, then you make a spine crawler. And you make the spine either in the middle of or behind your mineral line in your main base.
Alright, got it.
And then all you do is you have to micro the first time when the banelings run into your base, and you'll have to split your stuff up. As long as you micro okay, you don't let all your lings die to 1 bane or something, you should be able to hold it. So you have to just spread out. Just like let the queens poke stuff down, and like some lings always help. Try to always have like maybe like 2 or 3 lings helping your queens smack his lings, and then the rest of your lings should always be kind of like spreading out like constantly as much as you can, so that you don't get wrapped into a bane. And then like once you defend the first wave, which is very realistic if you micro okay, then you have banes every time after that, and that's when you stop making lings yourself, and you start using all your lings you already have as like a pool for banes. Do not try your best not to fight with those lings at all ever, and instead, what you do is you just make, like I said, you just fight with your queens and you make banes, and you slowly push back towards your natural with a spine as well, with a creep. And then a good queen count to stop at would be if like let's say your natural dies, okay, and he's like now it's kind of like a 1 base versus 1 base situation. 3 queens is stopping point, because you can have 1 queen injecting the main, and you can have 2 queens with 1 tumor pushing down to your natural, and as soon as you have the bottom of your ramp covered with 2 queens blocking it on hold position, and then you have a spine crawler at your natural, because you'd have creep there before you actually put the hatchery down now, because you're pushing with a tumor. You could also have banes out there with the spine, like 2 or 3 banes, and every time he attacks your wall, if it's mass units, you just blow it up with banes. If it's like 1 or 2 units at a time, just make sure you move command your banes around, and your lings and your spine and your queens can kill like the 1 or 2 lings that comes in really fast, and it will make it so your natural can just be rebuilt super safe, and you take no damage. And you can. And the last thing, sorry, I know I do this to you all the time. You're always
no, you're good. You're good.
You're like, he's done. Wait, no, he's not. But the last part would be, once you're at that stage where you're just using your lings to make banes with, like if you have 10 lings and you're making 1 bane every few seconds here and there, do not, like I said, do not keep making lings. Just make drones. Even if your natural has like 19 out of 16, 22 out of 16, 25 out of 16, just make drones. And as soon as your natural's done, you saturate your natural with all the excess. Because if your opponent keeps ulting you over and over, and you keep holding with Bane, Bane Queen, you'll 100% hold it cost efficiently. And if you have a fully saturated natural, or a well-saturated natural to work off of, and then you start making units again, it's very realistic. Because you're not using lings, you're using Banes.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. I really need to work on that, because like I tend to kind of just hold on to the Z button, and then I kind of forget to join. I was like, oh no, I was ahead, but now I'm not ahead. Yeah.
So, and the reason why too you don't want to make a lot of lings is because you're not mining a lot of gas here. You're mining off of 1 drone, and then you can resaturate up to 3 drones once you're back on 3 out of 3, or once you're on a fully saturated main mineral line and you don't go under saturation. So like your 18th and your 19th drone could go back on the gas. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, but do not very fully saturate the gas until you're good on the minerals, and then that can be more banes at a faster rate. Because if you get stuck in a situation where you're skipping Zergling speed and you're going banes, and you have like 20 slow lings in your main against someone else who's going banes, you're gonna have a bad day. So usually it'll stop around like 10 lings or like 12 lings for you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so even though that's not even happening this game, we can go check out what's actually happening this game now. Double fat.
No, it's good. It's good because like it helps me like kind of recreate like, you know, because there's so much that could be done to you like in ZvZ. It's like good to learn like all these situations, that way you can prepare for it beforehand, and especially being cheese too, because like it's really hard for me to hold cheese. Yeah,
and that's like most of ZvZ anyways, so it's like nice to know what's going on.
It really is.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play in 3, 2, 1.
All
right, so in this game, with your vision, all you've seen so far is, okay, he's gone hatchery first, and that's that, easy peasy. The Overlord is crazy though. I liked your first scout, but leaving it here that's super scary.
Yeah.
Okay, you're leaving now. Like, this is like last second you could have left. It's okay.
Use the Twitch Prime.
But one thing you should kind of keep in mind too is, I'm gonna pause one more time now, where I'm at 305.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind is if you do not centralize your Overlord and it goes around the, like, kind of like to see the mineral line, and then it goes around the back of the third, you're completely blind now to a lot of possible things that could happen. And The one thing I would say is, I like that you leave your second Overlord in front of your natural, but if you're going to do this, you kind of need to leave your first Overlord in front of their natural. Like you see on the ramp, how there's that like black tar spot, like out in front of his natural. Like it's like near the cliff where the mineral line is, below it.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, like that's about where your Overlord should be, because it's about max distance away from his natural, and it could barely see both ramps. So you'll see a Ling Flood either way he goes, if it happens.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And you'll leave your Overlord there up till this point. When your natural finishes, or when it's like almost done and you know for sure you're not having some weird Lings like sneaking your base, your natural Overlord can go to one of his 2 ramps, like left one or the top one, wherever. And you just like pick one with it basically. And once that Overlord gets close to that ramp, your Overlord at the tar spot could move to the opposite one. And the reason why this is good is because it makes your Overlords a little bit safer at not getting killed by queens. And it also not only scouts his move outs and his pushes that he could possibly do, but it also scouts his third bases.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll start doing that from now on.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Because right now, yeah, if he moves out from the left side, you're completely blind, and if you drone, you're just dead.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Oh, are we hitting play now?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, my bad. I'm so sorry. I thought we were going to play together again. I'm at 3:43.
Oh, 3:43. Okay.
I paused it again at 3:43.
Let me catch up.
This can be a point where you hear me like humming. You're like, what is he doing?
Yeah. Wait.
So at this point, at 3:43.
Okay, I'm ready. Are we?
No, leave it on pause for just a second.
Okay.
So you have actually in this game, you've left 3 drones on your gas, and although that's not super bad, it's really you should really only ever want to do that if you're going to be aggressive. Because what this kind of does is it makes your money not able to be spent efficiently, in the sense that you cannot take a 3rd queen and also all your Overlords that you need, and also spend all your drones that you need, or like spend all your larvae to make drones and stuff. Even though it's only 1 drone, it's like a big difference, because it speeds up how fast you build your Bane nest, and it speeds up how many Banes you could make. It's like a temptation, more or less, of like maybe not doing the right thing. So like the only time you should ever leave 3 drones on gas is when you want to get aggressive. If your plan is to like do a Ling Bane timing, then it's okay. Otherwise, you should take 1 off as soon as you get speed.
3 drones off on gas if we plan on being aggressive. Take drone off gas after speed. And then when should you put that 1 drone back on gas?
You can put the drone back on gas when you're about like 12 drones on the natural. That's fine.
Alright, sweet, sounds good.
And 12 drones on a natural also could be, if the game is really crazy and aggressive, 12 and you're making a lot of Lings, 12 drones on a natural could also be when you make a Roach Warren. But if the game is like really defensive and it's just like kind of mellow, there's not really much going on, you can take a Roach Warren when you're fully saturated on the natural, and then you start extra gas. If you want to go for like a Roach style, that is.
Alright, sweet.
Alright, so I'm going to hit play again. Right now. Alright, and then in this stage too, when you're kind of like, try to always get in the habit of doing this, when you're kind of chilling, nothing's really happening, you're squeezing in some drones here and there, you're making some Lings. Send 2 Lings, you can like shift click them as well if you want to, but send 2 Lings into his mineral lines. And you want to just take a quick look at how many drones he has.
Okay.
And you can compare it off of what you have. So if you look at your drone line and you go, okay, I have 12. And you look at his mineral line, and let's say he has like 5. You'd be like, alright, let's time to make units because we're about to get all in. Or vice versa. If he has like no drones, you could maybe decide, oh, I have a lot of units I want to attack. Or if you're being greedy as well, then you're safe. You know you're not going to get attacked by anything right this second.
I had a feeling he was going for a 2-base Roach all-in or Nidus play.
Yeah, it totally looks like it. I would say either one of those is perfect guess, because a Roach all-in could become either the +1 speed, or just a straight up Nidus, and it is a Nidus. So pause right now really quick.
Okay.
I'm at 554.
Oh, same here.
Okay, so perfect. So in this stage of the game, if you're gonna go for Roach, I think Roach style is great. It's just really solid. But if you would have had a Roach run started right at full saturation, there is enough time for you to go, okay, my opponent does not have a third base, and I am fully saturated on my main and my natural, and maybe I can squeeze out like 4 drones on my third, and then stop droning altogether. And if your opponent is legit just one basing you, or sorry, 2 basing you, it's 100% like required to scout the front of his base with like a Zergling, like you did. And if you see a Roach at all, like just some Roaches, especially Roaches, he showed you like 5 Roaches when you scouted his natural, 100% you're going to be fighting, like you said, someone is going to do a +1 speed Roach timing across the map, or a Nidus. And Nidus is like flavor of the month right now, since it's
It really is.
yeah, since it's buffed. So everyone goes Nidus. So the best thing you could do would be stop droning at that stage when you have, it'd be right around like 44 drones. It'd be like 3 gases and like maybe like 3 or 4 drones on your third. And then the main and natural mineral line's fully saturated. But then you just make Roaches, and you could hold this if you had done that. Another thing you can do in the stage you're in right now is if you think it's going to be a Nidus, and let's say your Roaches are really late, and you're gonna make them. Let's say you're starting to make them, and you're not really ready just yet, but you're worried about a Nidus. Best thing you can do is make, if you think your Roaches are gonna be on time, is what I'm trying to kind of explain, I guess. But if you think your Roaches are gonna be late, just make up to 4 Banes and leave them defensive in your base. And if you see a Nidus like this coming up in your base, 4 Banes can kill the Nidus, and then buy you a lot of time.
Sweet. All right, so 4 Banes.
And then it's not always like a great trade though. It's more just like a panic thing. It's like you don't want to be in the situation where you have to make 4 Banes, but this happens a lot to Zergs also when they go mutas. If you're going mutas and you have Ling Bane and someone's Nidusing you and you're like just barely not ready, 4 Banes can just wipe out a Nidus really fast as well. But you are taking a resource loss though when you do that. It's just buying you time.
Okay, that sounds good.
Because right now I would say you definitely need time since he's going Roach all in and you've got just nothing but Ling Bane. But your Roaches, oh okay, you actually made a decent amount of Roaches to fight back here. So honestly, this was pretty well handled. Your third has no saturation, which is perfect response, like we were talking about. It's if you do saturate it, it's very minimal. Otherwise, none at all. At this stage, I'm gonna pause one more time at like 650.
All right, 650. Wait, let me see. 650.
At this stage, when your opponent is going for a still not a third base, I love that you have Overlords here. That's what I kind of wanted you to do with the whole explanation of Overlords earlier. But you're seeing he doesn't have a third. This tells you so much that he's basically committed to this full on, and it's just not going to stop. He's going to keep Nidusing you and Nidusing you and Nidusing you. The best thing you can do right now is do something to get rid of his heir. That's cheap. Which would be, in this situation, would be queens. Just make a couple extra queens, and just make mass Roaches.
Okay.
And what you want to do is, I would say 100%, you need to skit every single part of your base that has fog, or near your base. Get an Overlord there, while you're like get all your Roaches to attack the Nidus, and then spread your Overlords out. So you'd have like, let's say 2 Overlords in the main, on the side of your main. You'd have 1 Overlord kind of like down the ramp to the right of your natural, like the top ramp that goes to like the top base over there. And then you'd have like another, let's say 2 Overlords kind of like out in front of your creep at your third, and maybe like a final Overlord at that that vent or something below your third, between that mineral line and your third mineral line. So you could see everywhere the Overlords would be hiding, and you'd see all the possible Niduses. So vision's huge here. And then just have a couple queens to kill Overlords. And then if you kill his scouts, he can't keep doing this to you.
Okay, that's good. I'll definitely do that next time for sure. I see that, yeah, I do have like idle Overlords over here.
Yeah. So the vision's huge here, because if you can get on the Nidus right when it starts like this, 100% you take a good fight. But if he is allowed to like get the Nidus up, and then you're at like kind of what it is right now, where you're barely out of position, because you're like coming down to your third base, but his Roaches are already starting to spawn, this automatically now becomes a bad fight for you.
Alright, I was so nervous when I played this game because I was like,
Oh yeah, that's okay. I understand.
I was like, is this the real print F?
Yeah. That's all good. But just keep it in mind though. It 100% makes the difference, all the difference, if you are in position or not in position when you're getting repeatedly nidused. All right, I'm gonna hit play right now.
Alright, sit here.
And then now I would assume he's gonna nidus you again. He's actually nidusing you at your 4th base area, so it's not actually in the main again. But definitely do not attack in situations like this.
Okay.
If you're the one who has a 3 base versus a guy who's still on 2 base all in, last thing you want to do is attack, because he's gonna non-stop nidus you, and you're gonna take damage before. Because I'm gonna pause again really fast.
Okay.
748. Because when you think about it like this, if your opponent is 2 base all-inning you with nidus, if you move out ever in that situation, what happens is you'll take about like 20 seconds of damage from the next nidus while you're walking across the map. And then if your opponent sees you with overlords that you're walking across the map, he'll just do some damage, and then if he wants to, if he's done like crippling damage at this point, let's say he killed your queens, he killed like a bunch of drones, or he killed your rallied roaches that are still trying to go across with your other ones, so he just overpowered your new units. There's nothing stopping him from going right back in the nidus and teleporting back to his base and then defending it.
Okay, yeah, you're right about that.
So and so it seems misleading that you're like, I just want to kill him, he's all inning, this is getting crazy. But the best thing you can do right now is to defend it and then take your 3rd base, saturate your 3rd, and then you just produce roaches at a faster rate than he can. And if you just keep shutting niduses down, he can produce 2 roaches when you produce 3 roaches. So you'll just outnumber him over time.
Okay, and then so would it be good to kind of go mutas off this as well?
Yeah.
To kind of get rid.
Yep.
When would I get mutas towards this?
When you're saturated on a 3rd base.
With saturated on 3rd base. Okay.
Because if your opponent just never stops nidusing you over and over and over, you cannot rush mutas really fast. You'll die, because the amount of roaches he'll spawn is gonna just overpower you, because you'll have way too much gas tied up and going muta.
Okay.
Like the Spire alone is worth 8 roaches in terms of gas. But if you keep denying the niduses with Queen Roach, like it's not a lot of Queen either. It's like 2 queens or maybe 3, with scouting overlords. But mostly just roaches, and you'll defend. Take a couple of good defenses, and he'll start wasting his own resources where you're not spending any gas to move your roaches from your main to your 3rd, but he is spending gas to go to your 3rd, because he's repeatedly nidusing, which means every time he niduses, that's 2 less roaches, 2 less roaches, 2 less roaches that he has in his army. So shutting it down over and over is an easy way to get a lead. And then if you go into a 3rd base saturation, once you know, okay, yep, I'm starting to have a little bit of excess larva that I can use here. I'm spending all my gas on my roaches. I got a lot of roaches, and I'm feeling pretty safe. Now I'm going to start squeezing some drones out and using my base. It's kind of like you can just use 1 hatchery production to make drones, and you could have 2 hatcheries producing roaches, and you're still going to produce roaches at the same rate that he is, but now somehow you also have drones. And it's because he doesn't have a 3rd. So you're slowly getting bigger and bigger and bigger leads. And once you get to that point where your opponent could be shut down on his nidus like so many times that now he's at 150 supply, you're at 170 supply, and you guys are nearing max, but now you have a saturated 3rd, you could totally have a Spire started then and still make roaches and roaches and roaches. And you could like you'll max on roach, but then you can start remaxing on muta at that stage.
Okay. Alright, that sounds really good, and I'm glad I asked about that, because I never really know when to actually get mutas, because I'm not a muta player, so I never go Spire.
Yeah. Rushing it too early is definitely a risk. That's like the biggest weakness of Spire, is you just die to all-ins all the time.
Definitely.
Alright, I'm gonna hit play again at 7:48 in 3, 2, 1.
Your forces are under attack. Punish the enemy attacking your base.
Yeah, now he's just like doing lots of damage, and he can he has the option to now go home if he wants to, which he's not. This game's getting crazy.
Mineral patch just went kaput.
You're actually thinning his army out more than he's thinning yours out.
Your base is
And you just killed his nidus. Okay, he's going for a base trade. I see.
mineral field empty. You're being attacked. Good game.
Wow. Chibi. Oh my god. Yeah, I think he made the wrong call. He committed way too hard to attacking you. If he would have, like, let's just say he Niduses your third base and he straight up kills your third, and then he has like he sees you're coming across the map and he decides, you know what, I'm gonna go home and defend my base, and then he goes home and now he holds his natural with all of his roaches and your third's dead, and now it's a 2-base versus 2-base situation.
Yeah, I was very scared about that too, because like when I was playing, I was like, all right, you know, I was afraid that he might go meet us behind us, so that's why I went over to his base before he could do something. Because I've had it happen to me. I've died to it too.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, he might be going meet us behind us off 2-base. So I was all like, okay, I have to go kill him now before I end up doing that.
The really good thing though about what we talked about too is if your opponent actually goes metas while they're also going mass roaches and Nidus, is that they're not going to have a lot of meta. That's a lot of gas. That's going to be spent on roach style. That's going to he'll have like 5 metas if he goes meta, like max.
Yeah.
And if you have
that's true.
Yeah, and if you have extra queens for killing overlords to stop his Niduses from continuing, those queens can also be multi-purpose and stop like 5 metas.
Okay, sweet. So just make queens who can stop the meters as well.
Oh, yeah, just like we're talking like 3 extra queens max, so you have like 6 in total. And then if you were to go meta, you could just grab all 6 of them and put them in a group and then maybe make a spore per base. And those 6 queens then could shut out metas really easy if he switches.
Alright, that sounds good. Alright, I'll do that next time then. I'll play more patient and just wait and just let them all die out slowly.
Yeah, no, like, cause you should feel, I know it's like intimidating as well when you play against someone. You're like, oh my god, this guy's really good. I gotta kill him. This is gonna get crazy. I get that feeling. I understand. But when you think about it in a way where if your opponent's just some random person, it's just like let's just say it's an equivalent ladder skilled opponent. If you're on 3 base and they're on 2 base, you should feel like you have the lead and they're the ones who are pressured, because every second that goes by, you're potentially getting more ahead than they are if you can defend properly.
Alright, you're definitely right about that. Alright, sweet.
Alright, nice.
Thank you. My ZvZ's gotten so much better. Oh wait, do you mind if I take a 5-minute break? I have to do something real quick before it expires.
That's fine. Go for it.
Sweet. Thank you. Feel free to play a game, because I'll wait afterwards.
Sure.
Alright. I'll BRB.
Alright, sounds good. Alright. I will, oh, why not? I'll just play a game. I'll just quit when she comes back. I'll do an all-in. I won't make it a long one. Johnny, what's up, man? Much learn, so knowledge, very absorb. Wowie. Yeah, man. Just gotta break the game down. Logically, think about people's moves before they do it. A lot of people get kind of caught up in thinking about what they're gonna die to, and not thinking about what the possibilities actually are. Like they overthink things. Like, I feel like the perfect example of it, that mindset, is, you guys know, I don't know why I can't think of his user ID now. Nice username. I think that's his name. His name's Joey. I always call him Joey. He made a video about what it feels like versus what it actually is. And a lot of people, when they think about StarCraft, they always... It's like, it could be like, let's say, 2 adepts walking into your base. That's what it is. But what it feels like is it's like 20 adepts walking in your base and your entire mineral line dies in like 2 seconds. A lot of people seriously think about StarCraft like that. They're like, oh god, I'm just gonna die. I gotta make extra crazy precautions and just make this game ridiculous. Because I'm dead. I'm just gonna die. Like, nah, it's fucking relax. You're totally fine. Just don't overthink it. It happens a lot. A lot of people get way too over their own head about what's actually happening in the game, because they start panicking because there's so much shit to, like, and it makes sense too, because StarCraft is such like a demanding game on thought process. Like, if you start feeling like you're falling behind in any way, even if it's not even actually happening, This game is so demanding that it's just like easy to start making everything feel overwhelming, and you're like, oh my god, I want it to end. I just need to start getting impatient and making crazy choices because this game is getting ridiculous. But if you just keep like a cool head and you logically break things down, it makes so much more sense. It's easier said than done. It's really hard to do that. It's just something you have to train yourself to do over time. Speaking of Nidus, I'm gonna do a Nidus this game.
Queen birth successful.
More queen. My first two just spawned, dude. Relax. There's another queen coming. They coming, bro. And yo, thank you guys for the follows, by the way. Much appreciated, boys. Legit, we both might be noticing each other. It's possible. I'm gonna laugh if we both build a Nidus in each other's bases.
Queen birth successful. Swarm forces under attack.
He's going for just like this upgraded Ling build.
Swarm forces under attack. Unacceptable. Queen birth successful.
We're gonna get him at a ramp. Now he can't stop his natural from taking a lot of damage.
Cluster under direct assault.
Because we're at a ramp. No, get back on the ramp.
Direct assault.
Athene wins. Athene. Slick. That was a slick Nidus. Getting the ramp controlled is how you win that shit really hard if they go mass lings like that with upgrades. Around the corner. Oh man. Hey ViBE, can I post a link about what it feels like?
Alright, I'm back.
Negative! I gotta unmute my stuff. Yo, I muted myself too, just in case you didn't mute. Welcome
Oh,
back.
thank you. Thank you. Oh, you won. Congrats.
I did, I Nidus somebody.
Oh my god. That's great.
Speaking of Nidus.
I know, speaking of Nidus. Let's see. I wonder. Oh man, that means we can't watch the replays together for the other ones as well.
Yep. Yeah, all of the replays are going to be having to do the same thing, like the timestamp stuff.
Alright, let me see. Let's see. We'll do the same thing. Let me look at my Discord.
Do you want to do the ZvT one?
Yeah, ZvT. Hey, that one.
Right, okay. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I don't remember if I won or lost in this game because I know there's like one or the other. Because I.
Do you have any, before we get into the Terran one though, do you have any other questions about ZvZ that you're not sure of?
ZvZ, let's see.
What did you say?
I know I had one, but I can't remember what the question was.
Yeah, it's okay. If you think about it, we can talk about it, but...
Oh yeah, sounds good. So let me look through the notes I typed. And maybe it'll come back up in my mind.
Alright.
So let's see. Sublime, where are you? Alright, defending wise. Oh, I think actually you actually really answered my questions very well. Defending wise, like the opening wise is really good.
Yeah.
Defending against the pool openings, that's definitely something I need knowledge about.
Actually, I want to tell you one more thing. Something I didn't tell you. I was gonna tell you, but we got kind of sidetracked. When you're fighting against someone who does not go 13-12, but instead goes for like a 12 pool expand. As soon as you defend and the fight's over, you should try really hard to get 2 lings out of your base and go to his base. And what you want to do is you want to immediately scout his main and you want to see his gas, because it tells you if you're gonna get Speedling followed up or if he's gonna go for like a roach build or something.
Okay. Wait, so how do you know if he's going, like, if he goes for a roach build, is he gonna go like 2 gases or is
it's gonna be the late gas. He'll be like probably starting the gas when your lings scout it. But if he's gonna go for a Speedling all in, you'll already see a gas that's already been done for a long time, and he already mined 100 gas, and he's not even mining gas at all anymore, and now he's already getting Zergling speed.
Okay, sweet. Sounds good. That's interesting. 12 pool opening and then fast into roaches?
Are you talking about for defense against that?
Yeah, for their opening, right? If you scout it.
So if you scout like a really fast, like let's say you scout a gas in their base off that ling right after you defended the 12 pool, and then you see that he's not mining more gas. It's just Zergling speed starting in the spawning pool. Guaranteed, he's gonna flood lings at you in about probably 45 seconds to a minute. So, and that's it. He's just gonna mass lings. So your response to that should be just start making more queens and maybe make an extra like a spine crawler or 2, and you can also keep shoving a creep teamer now forward to the front of your natural, and you can go defensive roaches. If you have to make the lings for the first wave, you can, but don't make lings until you see him flooding out of his base, or until you actually physically see like 30 lings in his natural sitting there. If you happen to catch that with your
Overlord or lings?
with your lings Overlord, because you got to keep in mind too, he has a lot of time while he's 12 pulling you to distract you, and it might be misleading how much time goes by in that situation. So very realistically, instead of making like 19 drones as well, he could stop droning at like 16 and just have 13 on minerals and 3 on gas until he gets speed, and then go back to 16 on minerals on 1 base. And he could, by the time speed's done for him, he could have like 50 lings attacking you.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, sweet.
Alright. I'm in the barcode versus Miharu game.
Oh, same here.
Alright, you ready?
Yep, ready.
Alright, I'm gonna do it on ×2 again. And I'm gonna start it in 3, 2, 1. Alright, I'm starting now.
Go. Okay.
Okay. So this map is it's not actually that bad for split map situations because the top middle of the map is actually like an air blocker. You can't go really high. So if you actually have Zenlaga control in this map, you can see everything. It's much easier than needing like mass overlords everywhere. Even though it still helps to have overlords. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but
Okay.
if you can control this map, it's actually one of the easier ones, I would say, for a macro game. For scouting purposes.
Sounds good.
And you said you've been doing the roach build against Terran? Like,
I've just been doing the standard opening build that you showed me.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's just been build I've been working on, kind of just going the Ling Bane style, where it's like once I get 170 gas and then get 2 evos and then a roach. Burn, I think.
I think I told you. I can't remember if I told you this because I like to cater to people's styles as well. I guess if you're like, I love Ling Bane, I'm like, all right, I won't make you go roaches. It's okay. But I'm gonna pause it right now really fast at 240 and kind of explain what I mean. If you ever scout a Terran and you feel uncomfortable going up against a Terran who's going reactor Hellions right away, you can totally throw down a Roach Warren if you want to defend it. But if you're someone who prefers Ling Bane, it also works. It's just Ling Bane requires a bit of micro, a bit more on the micro side. But like in terms of like you need to make sure your Bane's set up correctly, or else if they get wasted, it easily lose.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna go Ling Bane, it's still viable. I would just say you would have to do it in the order of, if you see someone going Hellions really fast like this, you should prioritize Baneling Nest before Evo upgrades.
Okay. So let me type that down. So, how do you know if they're going Hellions fast?
It's a reactor started at the same time as a factory.
So reactor started as factory equals Hellions.
And the reason why you should also make a Baneling Nest first now before Evo Chambers is because if this guy does a mass Hellion or a Hellbat timing to you, and you do not, especially Hellbat, if you do not have Banes because instead you're waiting for 1-1, which will not be done in time, you'd die.
Okay, yeah, I've been noticing a lot of Terrans on ladders been going like opening that really aggressive Hellbat push early on. And
it does happen a lot, yeah. Like there's a lot of like Hellbat Banshee builds, and there's a lot of Hellbat Marauder builds.
I didn't see them, but figure out.
Alright, so reactor start at same time as factory equals Hellions really fast.
Yeah. And the way you can tell,
perfect.
the way you can tell it's not Hellions guaranteed, as an opener, is when you see a factory that's almost done, like the one is right now. Like you can see the factory is at like 33 seconds of the way done, but the reactor, let's just pretend the reactor just, or sorry, I said it the wrong way. If the reactor is almost done, if the reactor is like 75% or higher, and the factory just now starts, then that reactor is going to be up for a lot longer than the factory would, and it's going to be for Marines. So reactor way earlier. Reactor way earlier than factory means Marine production. Because he can't swap the factory. It'd be like an inefficient build at that point. It's most likely the factory is only there for the purpose of getting a starport because it's a tech path. And maybe like tanks later or something.
Alright, sweet. Alright, perfect.
Alright, I'm gonna play again in 3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
And then on this map, also, I would say try your best to get an Overlord on that cliff right below the natural. It just helps a lot, seeing the front of the base.
Okay.
Because it gives you options, basically. Since you're opening up a Speedlings, it gives you an option to go, this guy doesn't have a wall. Actually, I'm gonna pause. This is really important.
Okay.
At 342. So some Terrans like to get real greedy, and they do not make a wall at their natural. And instead, they do things like they go for tech in their main, or they take a third base in their main, or something like that, because they're just so confident that they don't need a wall at their natural. And if they're the kind of player that does this, you do have the option to send your first round of Lings at their base and make a second round to defend something, or make Roaches or Banes or whatever, something else at home, while you send your first wave out. Because if you make something when you send your first wave out, the new units that you make will be in time to defend and catch whatever's coming at your base, like about like 6 aliens or something. But if you actually physically see him move out of his base and he's not there, and then you see him then commit to your base, like with like you see like maybe with his Naga Tower or an Overlord, that he's going like mid-map, he's going across the map, he's for sure coming here. There's nothing stopping you from getting in its natural and wiping out like 8 SCVs or like 6 SCVs or however many he has at this point, and possibly mules.
Sweet. All right, I'll definitely leave my Overlord in the area middle then.
Yeah, it just gives you options. And then if he is walling, just you can totally disregard that and say, okay, I won't bother trying to do that.
Alright, sounds good. Yeah, this guy didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize that he didn't wall off, so that would be really good to just sneak my Zerglings in.
Yeah, and then it's also nice. It's like a good peace of mind when you see him move out of his base, that you know now you should be paying attention to the minimap, and you should go, all right, his army's missing, so he's gonna attack my drone somewhere. So it's, if you have more of that mindset of like, I need to react to something because it's out there and it's gonna hit somewhere real soon, it's much easier to react to that than to be caught up being like, I gotta make my queens and my drones. Oh God, 4 drones just died and they're all dying. His aliens are in my main, or you know, something like that. It just gets you in the right mindset too.
Alright, sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, I'm gonna resume in 3, 2, 1.
All right.
And then right now too, I really like that you have 2 overlords, and you have 1 overlord kind of skirting into the side of his base right now. This is perfect time to scout him.
Heck yeah.
Alright, I see it.
All right, I'm gonna pause.
Okay.
You gotta pause one more time. Tell me what you're gonna say. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say I didn't forget about the 430 scout.
That's right. You you nailed it.
Yeah, I like sometimes I forget, but I've been getting used to like scouting. I have that second overlord because sometimes the first overlord that I send over always dies.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna send this one in.
Yeah, it's really good because you're also spotting the fact that he's going for a armory really fast too.
Yeah.
So really well done on the scouting this game. But in terms of like what the timing of it, the going on the cliff would have been a little bit better as well. But scouting the main was great. But now there's another problem, and it's the lings. They're all dead. It's because you chased the hellions. So I would just like if you're not gonna make extra lings for the mindset of like I'm gonna hit his natural, it's wide open. Don't ever leave your creep. Don't ever chase.
Okay.
It's always a bad idea to chase, and if you do, you should always be thinking to yourself, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. It's gonna cost me. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. Because I would say like 1 out of every like 6 times it pays off, and you're like, wow, he somehow got surrounded, or like I surrounded him and I got all the hellions. But generally, early game like really early game like this versus like the first 4 or maybe 6 aliens, you're just gonna bleed your units out most of the time, and then you're gonna be like behind for no reason.
All right, that's good to know. I jotted that down because I do that all the time.
Yeah, just do not ever leave your creep if you're going for the 3 base build.
Okay.
It's much. I'm hitting play again right now. It's much easier just to like surround him on creep because your lings move way faster, and it's way less damage you're gonna take while trying to surround him.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so I feel like this is a perfect example of.
Wait, what time are you on?
I'm on 5:12. It's still going. I'm gonna pause it at 5:14.
Okay, bye, Brennan. Let me catch up real quick.
Okay. This is a little bit harder to coach like this. Sorry.
I know it is. No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's not your fault. I didn't know there was gonna be a patch like today.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I'm ready.
Okay, so at this point there were like 3 hellbats that came into your natural, and you actually did kill them, but I guess this is a better way to say it. So if this guy would have actually combined more hellbats than just 3, he would have had a much more powerful timing there, because you were defending it with pure Ling Queen, and hellbats take forever to die to queens. Just throw that out there. They don't, like, queens can kill them eventually, but it takes forever. But if you would have had like 6 hellbats or 8 hellbats and you still just had Ling Queen, there's a very high chance that you honestly will just lose whatever ground you're trying to defend at. Like your natural would die if you hit your natural, very likely, and you'd have to like run all your drones away if you wanted to stay there and commit to the hatchery. And basically the point I'm trying to make is if you're gonna skip the Roach Warren, it's totally fine. But like we said before, just make sure you always make a Bane nest. Like pretty soon. Like if you're mining off of 1 drone on gas, this is perfect actually. When you get Zergling speed, you take 2 drones off gas. So now you're just mining off of 1. As soon as you hit 50 gas with that 1 drone, immediately make a Bane nest.
Okay.
And then what this will do is it'll allow you to have the option to... You'll have the Bane nest started, and then you'll be resaturating your gas once your natural is fully saturated as well. And that will give you enough of a pool of gas to where if your opponent's going to do like this 8 Hellbat timing, you now suddenly have 150 gas in the bank with the Bane nest already done. And now you can make Banes to defend it and not have to lose whatever your base you're going to try to defend. So it'll just clean up your timings, more or less.
Alright, sweet. Yeah, that sounds good.
And then if you scout, as the other thing too is, if you scout a player is going for a armory plus a tech lab on the starport, so you know this is going to be 1-1-1 with Banshees, you really need to also... I like that you put spores in the middle lines, but you really need to also have spores in between your bases.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so you don't have 5 spores here. And yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it for fixing up the early game.
Hey, let me jot that down real quick.
Okay, yeah, sure. Just let me know if you need me to repeat any part.
Alright.
I want to keep telling you more, but I know how hard it is to... Like, right now, you're probably like, ViBE, you're talking to me, and it's really hard to write this down.
Oh, no, you're good, you're good, you're good.
That's just, like, whenever I'm reading chat and I'm streaming, I'm always like, oh my god, this is so hard to, like, write down and make sense of this.
And armory... One. Alright, perfect. Alright, we're good. We're good.
Okay. I'm going to resume in 3, 2, 1. So do you actually use roaches at all in this?
Yeah, I do. Or in this one, actually, I don't remember if I used roaches in this one or not.
Do you like making the roach warren?
I do. I do like making
okay,
roach warren.
you gotta pause this right now then.
All right.
6:14.
All
Okay.
right.
So here's your new build. If you actually, I don't. Some people don't like roaches, which is why I don't always make you go roaches. But I think roaches are better, and this is what you should do. When you open up your build, everything is the same except now. Disregard everything I just said about that baling nest timing. Okay, don't even do that.
Wait, is this the 16 hatch, 17 pull, 16 gas? Once your natural is at 13 drones, make an Evo chamber, then Watch Warren. Once your natural is fully saturated, take both gases and start saturating your third. And then if you scout and see his third doesn't have any drones, stop droning and make units. Once third base is fully saturated, take your third base gases. If he's not.
Kind of. Yeah, it's pretty much the build. You nailed
Because
it.
you told me this last time, I just haven't. Yeah, I wrote this from the last time's coaching. I just haven't really used it yet because I've been going Ling Bane first. But since I've been noticing a lot of roaches, I will probably go. I'll use this build you told me last time as well.
Okay, and then just to make sure, the roach one, when you're taking it, it's after you spin the larva after your first inject on both hatches, right?
Okay, let me type that.
And if you
down.
don't have that, definitely have that. That's because the timing of the roach one is huge.
All right, so let's see. So there's some drones. So after you use larvas from Queen's injection.
Yeah, and on both hatcheries as well. Make sure it's both hatches.
On both hatcheries.
Then your next 150 minerals could be a roach warren.
Will it be still Evo Chamber first, then Watch Warren, or Watch Warren first before the Evo Chamber?
No Evo Chamber at all in the stage.
Okay.
Just roach warren.
When would you get a Evo Chamber?
So when you make, I'll start from the roach warren and I'll tell you when, and then we'll go up to the Evos. Okay. So you go roach warren right after your first inject on both hatches. After you spin the larva, and then you start the roach warren, and then you make. If you scout what looks like something that you go, oh yep, I'm gonna need roaches for this. You make like 5 roaches, and then after 5 roaches, off of 2 gases, you can throw down your Evo chambers. Once you make the roaches, and once you make the roaches, then once you spend your extra larva, then you can make your evos. That's totally fine. Because at that point you should have 2 fully saturated mineral lines, and you should easily be able to have a second gas going then, or it started. So the whole 170 thing wouldn't apply anymore because we're not doing this off single gas. If you're gonna go for a roach opener.
Alright, so go ahead and repeat this. So everything's pretty much 16 hatch, 17 pool, 16 gas. After you use the larvas from both queen's injections on both hatcheries, then the next amount of gas will go to Warren. And then once your natural is fully saturated, larva's all used, you're gonna throw down 2 evo chambers after you make like 5 roaches and spent your larva.
Yep, and when you spend your larva there too, make sure you take a second gas.
Alright, so spend larva, take second gas. So take second gas first before the evo chambers or after the evo chambers?
At the same time. It's just the same time, yeah.
Same time as evo.
And like this is just a mental note for you. You'll probably be around like 50 gas when you're doing this. Like 50 to 60 gas when you're doing when you're throwing down your evos and your gas, roughly. Because you're making your roaches, your 5 roaches or so. If you make them the second the roach warren's done, that's going to pretty much spend almost all your gas.
Okay.
And yeah, anything else so far?
No, that's... Oh yeah, that's pretty much it for that build that you just told me. I'll definitely try that on ladder.
Okay. All right, I'm going to resume in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is why you want to have the 5 swords like I was talking about with the rally points.
Yeah, definitely.
Now the banshee, it's more like just like checkpoints of vision. It's not even supposed to like kill the banshees with the spores. It's just because detection radius is bigger than the attack radius of a spore. So it allows your queens to zone out the banshees really easy. Oh man, queens are having a field day in that corner of your
I know, right? I know I scouted, and I was all like, "Oh God, he doesn't have a third yet." So I was like,
"Okay, this is actually really good. Pause it really quick."
Okay.
So if you, I love that you scouted. I was literally just about to say that that you're having lings kind of sitting and chilling at the third base. But if you ever scout your opponent and you go, "Where's your third?" and it's kind of later, 100% right now, immediately make it overseer, and just go check his base.
Okay.
It'd be like your follow-up scout, and this will usually be around like 6 minutes. 6 to 6.5 minutes is roughly when you should be thinking to yourself, does he have third? And like if I haven't seen one at his third yet, and maybe make an overseer then.
Make overseer, scout base. Alright, perfect.
Yeah, and then that'll give you the this read, where it's like, what you should look for is obviously a third command center or extra production from what you saw before. And this is 8 minutes now, so obviously at this point we're going to see a lot of extra production because it's a lot later. But if you're doing this around 6 minutes, he'll have to make a choice. Like he'll have made a choice to either make a lot more barracks or to make a third CC at that point, and that'll give you a read to go, okay, well now I can drone up on a 4th base, or I should stop droning and I can still take a 4th, but I should only use it for production because he's actually all-inning me now.
Yeah.
All right. We're on the right page. Chibi, you're looking good here.
Thanks. It's because of your coaching last session, you know. How long ago was that? It was like 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Hey.
But yeah, you're scouting a lot more, which is really good. And you're like the build, I think it could be fixed a little bit, but otherwise it's still not bad. Your drone count's looking pretty good too.
Yeah, I always have to keep looking back at my notes because I'm just like, wait, because like, you know, mine kind of just derps sometimes. It's like, oh no, I forgot something, or oh no, I missed something. So once I actually get more used to it, the build, and it'll be like more like, you know, just, what was it, muscles?
Yeah, muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory. There you go.
It's exactly true. Like you, practice makes perfect. You have to just like repeatedly do it till the point to where you don't have to look at it all the time, but instead you just know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm gonna play in 3, 2, 1.
Ready to creep.
So, so far, you still have the right idea, though. Like, you have your third fully saturated. You're continuing to saturate it further now by taking gases, and you're keeping the drone count going because you're seeing what looks like a third base from your opponent, even though you haven't fully confirmed it yet. But it's okay. You saw SCVs there. It's very likely that it's happening. All right, one more time. We're gonna need to pause again really quick.
I know, I shouldn't have fought you.
No, it's okay. So, there's two things here that we can talk about that are really, really important that will clean up everything and make it'll make sense. Number one is the build itself. Obviously, this game. I know we just talked about the roach timing, but this game you actually made roaches way after the fact when you didn't need them. And this could have just been invested more into more important things like more Banes or just more Lings in general, or maybe like throwing down a tech building or pretty much anything. Roaches at this point, because you got the upgrade too, this roach speed, don't ever get the roach speed upgrade unless you know it's mech. If it's if it's a bio build, it's complete. Like roaches now just suck. Like don't even ever make them at this point. It's just it's a good way to protect your drones early against Hellions and possibly Hellbats. Other than that, unless it's mech, roaches suck so bad. They're just super garbage.
Got it.
So instead, you would just be better off getting Massling Bane. And the second part of what I was going to say, which is super important, is I know you were kind of distracted with the early opener and your queens had a powwow and stuff. And you're natural. But make sure you prioritize a lot of creep spread on wherever your third is. So right now, because your queens are neglected a lot on doing that, and right now your creep should honestly be spread to like touching the mineral line. That's like it's like in the middle, not the corner mineral line, but like the middle of the map one, like to the right of your third kind of. It's like south east a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's if your creep was like touching that mineral line right now, and then it was like it was also kind of like I guess touching the mineral line as well in bottom left, and then the right side, the creep's not bad. It's getting ready to go up the ramp. That's totally acceptable. But the creep on the bottom side of your third is definitely neglected. And if you had more creep here, this fight would be 1,000 times easier for you to defend, because it gives you room to work with where you can chase his bio down if he commits towards your hatchery. Like if he commits on the creep, it just gives you all this room to work with. Because the most important thing you want to do with creep is you don't want to fight someone on the edge of creep unless 100% it's just a harass, because then you want to protect your creep. But if it's someone who's like doing a big timing, which this looks like because it has 4 medevacs in it, that's a lot of medevacs. If this person's going to do a fat timing to you and like try to like kill whatever he can, this is designed to kill you basically. You want to allow the Terran to walk on your creep for a bit to give yourself a lot of room to work with when he tries to retreat, so that you can swarm him and kill him and get like maximum benefits from your creep spread, which you don't have right now, so it kind of sucks.
Got it.
So yeah, just keep that in mind always. And sorry, I'm hitting play now as well. I don't want to make you be like, wait, whoa, oh god.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
All right, I'm hitting play in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, just always creep spread towards your third. Very important.
Okay. I wrote that down.
Because this is I would say this is like the first stage. That's like a test of ZvT to see who's going to control the game. Terran always attacks your third base if it's a macro game. It happens every time. And if your creep spread is neglected and kind of behind, you'll always take more damage than you should. As opposed to if your creep's really good, you'll just crush the Terran and now you gain map control. It's a big setting point for who's going to be ahead in this matchup, like for the rest of the game. All right, and your macro is not bad. I would say you have a safe amount of drones, but the only reason why you're not as ahead as you honestly should be right now is because it's a creep thing. You're taking fights that are not as efficient because the creep is it's not as good as it should be.
Your mutation is finished. You're under attack. Just go kill them.
That was good. if the creep was there, imagine how really good that would have been. But anyways, super good though.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, she's.
Okay, I'm gonna pause really fast right now.
Okay.
12:12. All right, so you took a really good fight with the flank attack. That was actually really patient and well done. But right now, attacking his 4th base was a great idea. But now it comes down to the point to where you do not want to bleed out. At this stage, if you look back at your base, you're starting 2-2. You are starting an infestation pit. You're starting your build to get ready to go to Hive Tech, what is what it looks like. And you're preparing for a later stage than what this already is. So as long as you do not bleed out your army right now, you're 100% solid. So the best thing you can do, I would say, is take the win you just got. I love that you killed that planetary. That was really good. But now do not commit further. You should actually just take another base, and you should fix all economy that you have and drone up to like 85. Or like 80-ish. It doesn't have to be 85 exactly, but around 80.
80-ish. Okay.
Like a little bit over 80 is perfect. Like 80 to 84, 85. That's super. Like anywhere in that range is amazing. Because then it puts you in this stage where, excuse me, you can trade really well and you don't lose out your bank. So you can then, once you get to that stage, you can be like, all right, well I'm maxed now off of like 84 drones. And I took a fight. I killed a lot of his units, but I lost a lot of my own units. But now remaxing is super easy while I'm still tech switching into like Broodlords or something stronger.
Yeah.
Because I have so much money coming in all the time that I keep developing this massive bank every time I fight my opponent. And it only happens if you're patient and you actually take more advantage of the game when you have map control. Like I said before, like taking drones right now rather than throwing this army to its death, basically. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, it does. That is.
Okay.
I always tend to overcommit to that too, because like I end up bleeding out, like you said.
Yeah.
It's something that I tend to do. Is like I'll take on a really good fight, and then I'll just end up sending my entire army to die.
Yeah. So right now, I would say there should be 3 stages of what you should do right now. Number 1 is like, as soon as you took this fight that was really good, immediately take another base and immediately make drones for that base, because now you know after killing his army plus his base that he is now put in this behind position that he has to recover from. So you have time to drone. Number 2 would be spread your creep. Right now, put a big emphasis on getting all your creep further and further and further, because even if it turns into a situation where from here you're just going to be passive on your creep and you're going to spread it as fast as you can across the map and only fight on creep, you would still win. Very likely.
Sweet.
And the 3rd step is after you get all your creep and all your drones and your economy like fixed and all well, like good to go, and it's all thriving basically, you could then scout for his other 3rd base or his 4th base or whatever. Scout the map again. Like maybe you could scout the bottom side, scout the middle right base, which you are pretty sure a base is there, but you haven't confirmed it yet. And if there's still nothing defending it after you fix your creep and your economy, then you can poke it, and do not but you would want to be very hesitant to really commit to a fight. Just poke it, and if you can get free damage, then that's amazing. Like maybe kill some depots on the side, or kill a gas with gas SCVs, or maybe, who knows, maybe you get some banelings in the middle line and he doesn't defend it properly, then that's amazing. But if he tries at all to defend it, just back up. Don't even commit at all. Just run away and let him have that one base, because it gets to the point where if you take that fight and you just droned and just worked on creep spread, that you're going to have a little bit of there is a very likely chance you're going to have a little bit of a hiccup in your like your macro, because you're focusing on so much stuff all at once. And if you also at the same exact time throw your army away, you open yourself up to a really scary position of a counterattack.
Alright.
Alright, sweet.
Yeah, so just focus on controlling, and that'll be perfect.
Okay, I just need to be more patient, because I'm always so impatient when it comes to ZvT. I'm just like, I just want you to die now.
Yeah, no, I understand. I get it. ZvT can be stressful. It's just because most Terrans just want to make the game go like everywhere. It's like, I'm 2 drops in your main, 2 drops in your 4th base, just a push here with tanks, and just everything Zerg dies sometimes if it gets out of hand. All right, so I'm gonna start hitting play again in 3, 2, 1. And the game's over. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, so you obviously you just did enough damage there to end the game, but if your opponent wanted to stay and continue, that is how you should have kind of followed it up to make sure you gain like this massive lead.
Alright, that's perfect. Alright, that's great to know. So pull back. Let me type that up.
Sure. If you want me to restate any points, I'll just let me know.
That's you.
Alright, see. Done.
Wow, she's
Okay. All right. So, any other questions so far on anything that seems like it doesn't make sense or anything at all?
No, actually, no. You went through very, like, you kind of really helped a lot with the whole ZvT, because that was the one thing I was missing was the whole clarifications where it comes to the Hellbat stuff and, like, the pushing and pushing out. And, like, it's a nice reminder and, like, just really, really good. And that's what I felt like I really needed.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind too, this is something else I want to kind of focus on for like talking about Hellions and Hellbats. If your opponent goes for just like a Hellion pressure, we're talking like maybe 6 or 8 Hellions, and then he goes for maybe even it has Banshees in it, and then he's the kind of guy who transitions into like bio, so he just uses Hellions only. You can totally get by with the 5 Roaches, and that's all you make, and then you can go from that into like Ling Bane, and you're like your standard build basically. But if you scout an armory like how you did this game, where you're like, oh no, this guy's committed, or if you don't scout an armory and you see Hellbats in front of your base and you have the 5 Roaches already, you have to make more Roaches. So even if you have the Evo Chambers already started, you don't have to like cancel them or anything, but you do not stop making Roaches on 5 at that point. You would instead be like, oh, he's got Hellbats, I'm gonna make like an extra 6 or 8 Roaches on top of 5 already. I'm gonna just spend a lot of my money right now on immediate Roaches, because this is scary, especially if it's like a Hellion Marauder timing. That's really, really scary.
I see. Perfect. Alright, so ZvT. Oh man, I love these notes. Thank you so much, Vibe.
Yeah. No worries. I'm glad it's helping you out.
It's helping me a ton. Oh my god, it's from before as well. Like, I've noticed a big improvement since the coaching.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to you in like 2 months, and you're gonna be like, I'm almost GM. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh man. I'm like, hey Vibe, guess what? I'm GM now.
Yeah. Don't pass me in rank, please. Come on.
Hit you up on ladder soon, Vibe.
No, that'd be cool. I think it'd be awesome if you hit GM.
Oh man, it's gonna take me quite a while because it's a log. You need to have a log experience.
Yeah, it is. GM is a grind. It's a major grind.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Like, oof.
But
Mitsuki says don't tell him. Just let him know when you beat him on ladder with the GM border.
No, but you're definitely improving. I can tell. Like from the last time to this time, you have a lot more. You still have some stuff you can improve on, but you have a lot more clean play overall. It's a lot better. But
Sweet.
I'd say the biggest one for sure, out of all of it, the biggest thing you should work on is your creep spread, because I think that'll solve a lot of your problems. It's in ZvT at least.
Perfect. All right, yeah, I'll go ahead and definitely work on that more. So creep spread.
Also, I'm gonna give you a tip. It might help you a lot with your creep spread. It'll be interesting. Do you use rapid fire at all?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to go to your creep. Do you rapid fire creep tumors already?
Yeah, I do rapid fire creep
okay,
tumors.
never mind. You're already ahead of the curve. GM in no time, Chibi. Yeah, I was gonna tell you that because when you have like 5 queens like that, a lot of times you'll have like 8 creep tumors in the same spot, and to save you a lot of time, rapid firing is great. But if you already do it, it's really good. All right. Do you have any other questions at all about anything?
No, actually, yeah, I don't. That's pretty much it. Actually, ZvZ and ZvT are definitely the ones I need more work on.
All right. Well, I guess all I can say is good luck. You're on the right path. You're on the path of success. Okay. I can see it.
Thank you so much, Vibe.
Yeah, thank you for doing the coaching lesson, and
Wait, what? There's another
I hope you have a good rest of your stream.
Thank you. Definitely will. Thank you so much.
All right.
You have a great ladder session.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Vibe.
See ya.